Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a leaf floating on some water with the reflection. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can, probably simplify the image a little bit to make it a little bit more beginner friendly. And I'll show you how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been on chat for our live show, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm using a 9 by 12 inch canvas panel. It's a Belgian linen Pro Series canvas from Fredrix. And I have not done anything to the canvas to prep it. It's already prepped with gesso. I have just drawn a line across it right about the 4-inch mark down from the bottom. So I guess it's a 9-inch, so it's, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can do my math. 5 inches here, 4 inches here. That's 9. Yeah, that worked. I don't know why. Couldn't think of that number. Okay, so use a T-square, get your line straight, and we may have to put it back in again later, but that's really all we're going to have to do right now with the canvas. I'm going to go over our brushes really quick. I'm going to use a number 12 and a number 8, number 12 bright and a number 8 filbert for the background. And then for the leaf itself, we're going to need some very small brushes. So you're going to want a really tiny liner brush if you can find one. This one's the 18-aught. This is also 18-aught. They're both short liners. The 18-aught in the Princeton Select is a little bit shorter than the short liner in this one, so it's almost like a spotter, super thin. And then I've got a number 1 round and a 1/4 inch angle brush for that as well. So use whatever you've got that's, just your smallest brush for some of these little fine lines in the leaf. And I'm going to show you kind of a simplified version, and then we'll go back in and add a few of the little veins with the leaf. I'm not going to put in all of the million little veins in the reference photo, or we would be here all day. So we're going to kind of simplify it a little bit. I'll show you how to do that.
Excellent. I'm all for that.
I know Mark's like, I want dinner. This is let's go over colors really quick. I've got burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, cobalt teal, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple. This is titanium white in heavy body and liquid form, and then this is zinc white in liquid form, and some glazing medium. I know this glazing medium looks white, it dries clear, so it just looks white on the palette there. Got paint on the back. And so thank you to Fredrix, our canvas sponsor, and to Princeton, who provided our brushes. There are our 2 sponsors there, and yeah, we really appreciate them. And when I do the leaf, I will show you how to draw it, but for now, we'll just go ahead and get this background on, let it start drying, and then while it's drying, we'll show you how to draw it. All right, so I'm going to start. Is that good with you? Okay, all right.
I like the plan.
Glad you approve.
You're welcome.
I'm going to spray my palette just to keep it wet while we're working here. And I'm really going to kind of work quickly, wet on wet, and do my lighter colors first, and then kind of work the darker colors in, and probably go with both brushes at once. So we'll kind of be working tandem here. So I'm a little... Get some titanium white. And the heavy body acrylics, nice thing about them is they take a little bit longer to dry, so you can do these kind of blending effects, and we should have a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is kind of mirror. It'll get dark in the center here. These 2 outer edges are going to be the kind of mirror image of one another. So I'm going to do the color up here and then do it down here, and just kind of try to keep them sort of mirrored as I put these on. So getting a little bit darker color. And I'm going fairly thick with the paint so that I have time to blend it. And if it dries, we can always add more paint. So don't worry about it if you are, slower going than me. That's not a big deal. If you go over your line, don't worry about it. We're just kind of trying to get these to sort of match up. And actually the angle is this. So there's an angle this way a little bit, and then it goes this way a little bit on this side. So they kind of angle out a little bit. They're not perfectly parallel. So it angles out here and here, and this goes that way. Okay, then let's grab some of this phthalo green and a little bit of the phthalo blue, making another turquoise. Add some water here, maybe get a little glazing liquid to make my paint go a little bit longer. And I'm just gonna throw down this paint all up to the corner, I think. For now, we'll add the darker colors in after this initial color goes on. And really, we can kind of cover up that line. We're still seeing it underneath, so I'm fine. I just use chalk with my T-square to kind of put that line on there. Okay, it's good. It's going to look worse before it looks better, so just kind of know that going in. It's going to look like a hot mess at first, so pretty much normal.
Say hello to everybody.
Yeah, hi guys. Hope you are enjoying your Tuesday night. We're glad to be back to our regular schedule.
Yes.
Again, have you join us for that. It's been wild around here. We're going through a home renovation right now, so if you're new to our channel, that's all we talk about anymore.
Yeah. The grandkid's not here, so we'll talk about the home reno.
Exactly. It's pretty much taking up our entire lives. So this is Ultramarine Blue, and I'm just going opposite. I have not cleaned out my brush. Just going opposite here. Okay, now this may be a little bit too dry, but we'll see if we can get it to smush around any. So I'm going back over this teal now, and I've kind of got no real paint in my brush. It's just very little anymore. And I'm just going to kind of put some streaks in this. Smooth out those blends. Okay, that looks good. Doesn't look good yet, but it will.
Mm-hmm.
I say it looks good, it's right on track. So I'm going to grab the Cobalt Teal, a little bit more on my brush here, get a little bit more of this glazing liquid. And what I'm going to do is just kind of try to keep these wet so I can keep working on them. And if they start to dry, I'm going to have to stop and let Mark dry it out, or we can stop and let it draw or leaf or whatever. But let me get a little bit of white here.
I haven't broken out the Pro 1500 in a long time.
Is that your vehicle of choice over there?
Yes, it's the dryer of all professional paint dryers.
Check. Okay, I did not know that.
He had all the rallies and things like that.
They're
that we
all
have.
talking about it.
Yeah. It's a
Coming out with
coveted
new models.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Someone has asked how can they keep the paint from drying too quickly if they are doing this on a larger canvas.
I would just do it in steps. So I would probably just do sections at a time and blend your sections and then move on, you know. Use a larger brush for sure. That's your number one to do with a larger canvas for sure. So you're going to need a bigger brush.
If you paint in the pool, it'll keep it really wet too. So
Is that your tip, honey?
yeah, yep,
That's your
yep.
observation?
It definitely will not dry out.
Probably not.
Somebody asked, can they mix Cobalt Teal?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. It's similar to the color Teal, which is a mixed color, and it's phthalo blue, phthalo green, and pretty much equal parts plus white. So Cobalt Teal itself is a little bit different configuration, but it's basically the same color. It's cobalt and titanium and oxides of nickel. So I'm not really sure what you would use for that, but I know that Teal is almost identical to this. So, and they, for a while there, Golden wasn't making Teal because they couldn't get the minerals or whatever for it, for Cobalt Teal. So they were having to use Teal instead, but they brought it back last year.
So were they unable to get the T or the eel?
Don't know, honey.
Okay, well, you need to have these facts.
Okay, so you can see right here where it's kind of leaving a mark right there. That's because the background green was starting to dry. So I'm going to have to do this in stages. I'm going to have you dry it, honey. Sorry. While it's drying, I'll show you how to draw our leaf. Yeah, don't get it on your shirt there. Mark's got his work clothes on. Okay, so to draw the leaf, we're going to have our line across here. So it's going to be level. Your water line is always level, unless I guess you're doing a waterfall or whatever. Actually, that's not level at all, is it? Not even close. It's really funny. Okay, there we go. A little bit better. So, and on my drawing, I did it right on the third on my canvas. So we're going to place the leaf in this bottom third. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to use this entire thing here. Move it up a little bit so you see it better. So you're going to kind of figure out where your top and bottom marks are of your leaf, and then just slightly north of center, we're going to have our pivot point where these two meet. So this side is longer than this side in our picture, and we're going to come down from that and bring it out, back in, and then this side is going to come out as well, and then curve back in like this. And these don't match because of the reflection, the water. It's not a mirror image. It would be if this was a flat leaf, but because it's curved, we're just seeing the underside of that leaf. We're not seeing, it's not flipped. That's not how, reflections work. So our diagonal on here is going to be, here's our water line. We're going to come off just on a diagonal and do the bottom of our leaf where the water line, where they meet in the water. And then we're going to come out pretty sharply, and it's going to come down a little bit. It's got just a little bit of a curve here and here, and then it pretty much does almost a straight line to that little spot right there. Like that, I am. And then this side, because it's smaller, so it's actually kind of a flatter curve. Comes down. It mimics this little lump here, but it's kind of like that. It's just a little bit smaller. And then this over here, it's coming down kind of These are pretty much parallel. They're just slightly off. They're not quite perfectly parallel, but you're getting kind of these two spots and these two spots are going to be almost above one another. And again, this time, this side is going to be bigger than this side. So this side is going to be closer to center than this one. So here's our center mark here. This one's quite a lot bigger than this one here. And so we're going this way, and it's coming up right up underneath like that. So we're going to see a little tiny bit of the underside of that leaf there coming through. And then this is going to curve out and back under like that. So this line should be, this line here should be a continuous line right like that. This is all our reflection right here. This should all kind of curve together like that. And then this line here, same deal. So this line's going to come across right here, and then it's going to continue out this way a little ways. So you're getting this little V wedge right here. And then it's going to curve back around, and it dips in just a little bit right there. Okay. And then it comes out, and it pretty much makes a straight line. It comes out just a little bit, and then pretty much makes a straight line for under here. And this is, we're seeing just a little bit of that shadow there too. Under there. And I think this one actually comes out a little bit like that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop there because we're gonna have to blow dry again. So, oh, there goes my, it didn't have anything in it. It was just my mug. No. Hopefully not. Mark's more worried about the floor than my mug, I guess. A little bit more expensive, huh? Did it dent the floor?
I don't know where it is. So.
Okay. All right, so I've mixed up some Phthalo Blue, Phthalo Blue, Dioxazine Purple, a little bit of green. So I've got that turquoise color, and then I've added the purple to it, and it's making this really dark black. Added a little bit of brown also, but I don't even think I really needed that. And we're going to glaze. I'm going to need more glazing medium. I'm going to glaze again this time. I'm going to leave some streaks. You okay, huh?
No, I just
What's the matter?
banned somebody by accident.
What?
I just banned somebody by accident.
Okay. Okay. Trouble in chat world. Oops, let me see. I'm going to zoom out. Mark's doing other things there. And this bottom area is a little bit darker than the top. I think it wears off after a while, doesn't it? Or is it permanent? I may have to go in and change it later. I'll have to unband them. Okay, so we're starting to kind of sort of see the look that we're going for here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that other brush.
Okay, there's a bunch of questions coming through.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read them in
Okay.
order I see them.
I'm
So,
gonna grab some yellow here. Add that to this. Go for it.
what kind of pellet paper do you use? Is it,
This is not paper anymore. I used to use the Richardson gray matters, but I don't use that anymore. I use the glass palette now.
and that's in the Amazon store?
Yes,
It's a
it
glass
is.
palette.
And the Richardson paper too.
Yep.
I
It's
like
just
them both.
gray underneath it.
Right.
And then somebody, I think, asked about the dark blue.
This dark blue was ultramarine blue. Okay, so now this is kind of more what we're looking for right here. Is the second layer going on here is definitely helping. I'm gonna grab some of this darker color, do it on this side. Really, I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth over that line because it's in this area, at least it's straight up and down, so I don't have to worry about the angle like I do on this side over here. One of our guys stayed late to help put in our tile, so he's still here. Really nice of him, trying to get us to have our washing machine back by this weekend, but they got to put in the grout tonight for it to set up so they can start moving stuff back in. Long story. This is a never-ending house renovation. And I got quotes for the new shower today and just about cried, so. And every tile I keep finding is not going to work for the shower. It's not the tile that I thought I was going to put in there is not going to work, so it's just been a thing. I'm so over it. I'm glad to be painting. It can wait. And it's funny because when we said we were going to be doing this, my group on Facebook were like, oh, man, I did, they all had horror stories about their renovation things, and how far over budget it went and how many weeks extra it took and all this stuff. And I'm like, we got it. We got it. We're going to order enough tile. We're going to, so they ran out of flooring today. They've run out of tile. Every single room has run out. I've done such a bad job of ordering stuff. It's just not even funny. So anyhow, okay. So I'm just going back over what we did here. And I think I want just a bunch of this turquoise color, this phthalo green and phthalo blue together. Makes a really pretty phthalo turquoise, it's called. So if you have that color, you can just grab that instead. I don't know why I didn't, but I like to do things the hard way, obviously, because that's the ordering not enough tile. So obviously enjoy causing problems. All right. So just back and forth here. Really good. Liking it. We're definitely going to need to darken that up, but I'm going to wait until that dries to glaze just that section right in here. But we're getting pretty close to where I want to be up on the rest of this. Let me get some phthalo blue and burnt sienna. That makes another teal that's a little bit more on the blue side. It's really pretty. So we're going to use that. It's super dark. Let me get a little bit. Oh, I ran out of my glazing liquid. Get on my, you can do it through my computer. I'm already logged into my account. Just open it up in a different window.
I don't want to mess up the stream.
Okay.
Because knowing me, I'll click something and then it'll not go.
All right, well, don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm going to worry about it.
Okay.
I've already posted in both groups.
Okay.
So this looks like one of those things where, you fold it in half and it's the same on both sides.
Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of is.
Maybe we should have done it that way.
Maybe. Probably would have been easier. Faster, too. So I'm just going back through with the glazing liquid here, just softening up these transitions, adding a little bit of this darker color. And while this is wet here, I think I might just go ahead and glaze this part. I'm going to grab some ultramarine blue and add it to this color too, because it's kind of like almost like a Prussian blue. I'm going to pull down with it right there. And then I'm going to use this glazing medium and just kind of blur it side to side a little bit. I had too much paint on my brush still. Just pulling down. Using that glazing medium. Just kind of go side to side with it. There we go. It's kind of, see how it's kind of doing that? Like a little bit of blurry. I'm going to get a little bit more of that dark. Go a little bit brighter blue right up there at the top there. And I'm just going to let that, I'm going to have to let that set because it's starting to, that paint color is starting to set up there. I don't want to mess with it while it's drying. Yeah, I need to leave it.
And you're using a matte medium or a gloss glazing?
Gloss.
Gloss
Glazing
glazing liquid.
Yep. Yep. It's that golden glazing liquid. Golden has an extender in their glazing liquid. Liquitex doesn't. Most other, I don't know of any other actually glazing liquid that has an extender in it. So it makes it a little bit easier for the blending. Gives you a little extra time while you're doing it. Okay, so getting more of this ultramarine blue. I don't know.
Okay, then what is the difference between a medium gloss and a glaze?
What? What? Say that again?
So what's the difference between a glaze and a gloss medium? If I had my book here.
Well, gloss medium usually comes in a gel form. You usually see matte medium in a liquid form, and gloss medium oftentimes comes in a gel form. The Liquitex gloss medium that I've used actually is a varnish too, so it's got kind of it's thick, or not thick, but it dries, like a varnish film. So glazing liquid is just intended for you to thin your layer of paint, but you really could use either one. They're about the same consistency. Glazing liquid's a little bit thinner, and it's intended to make your paint transparent for these kind of glazes of color, these washes of color over the top. And I've gone way dark on all of this. Now it's drying, it's starting to set up pretty dark. So I'll try to find areas that I can go over that are dry enough. I can't go any of these areas that are starting to dry, I can't mess with because they will lift. So I just have to be really careful. I think I can do down here now, though, that this is starting to set up. And I need to remember this angle here and here. So anytime I'm introducing a new color up here, I'm coming down here to introduce it down here too. That way I can keep track of all of this that's going on up in here. Otherwise it's just going to get a big mess. Okay, we're getting close here. Let me go ahead and let you take that one last time. I'll finish drying the leaf out. And dry that again really well for me. Thank you, honey. This time I'll remember to clean my brushes out. You don't ever want to leave the paint in your brushes with acrylics. They dry so fast, especially if you have paint up in here. You really kind of, with a flat brush, you want to avoid getting the paint up in there because it'll get up under your ferrule and it'd be really hard to get out. With round brushes, it's not as much of an issue. You can load it all the way up into that silver area, but just as long as you're real careful to clean it out. But all right. Going back to this, let me zoom in and hopefully I'll remember to zoom back out for you. All right, so then our leaf center is going like this, right? And then it's hiding under here a little bit. So part of that is in surface of the water, so we're not seeing it. So it kind of skips over here just a little bit, and then it continues on out to our tip there. All right, and then this one and this one almost meet. So they're just a little bit, again, this one's kind of, you're seeing a little bit more of that underside of the leaf, and this one we're not seeing that curve all the way down because it's hit the water here, or at least the front part of it's kind of hiding the curve where it's not touching the water right there, but where it touches the water, where this one and this one meet is not visible because it's underneath that leaf just a little bit since it's curved. I hope that's making sense, but all right, so it's curving like that, and then this line is going to go loop like this and come out right here. Right there. And then there's just off there, kind of follows the outline of this outside curve. Curves in like that, and then it goes on the other side like that. And then we're seeing the mirror image, not the mirror image, but the other side of it. And this actually kind of goes right to about the place where these two meet. So right about in there, and actually I just drew that a little too close to that edge. There's a little spot where it just kind of goes flat along that edge there. There we go. So that goes right up to that right there, and then this one kind of comes out like that, and we're not seeing any of the detail under there. And then all of this stuff in the leaf, what I think I'm going to do is, to avoid having to draw in every single little square in here, I think what I'm going to do is glaze a little bit of white here and here, that zinc white that's transparent, glaze a little bit here and here, and do a double glaze over these areas where they crisscross, so it's a little bit brighter, a little bit darker, or a little more color in these little crossover areas here and here, and then just kind of hit a few little highlights on these leaves with the highlight. So I'm not going to draw in all of the little tiny details, but just in general, the direction is, basically like this. These are curving out and splitting off right at the tip. So this one is kind of actually in this area. It's going right along in here. And then they're just kind of making these little connections. It's not really uniform, so actually it's kind of probably better for us because we can kind of get away with keeping it pretty random as long as we're sort of making these general boxy shapes. We should be okay. So, and up in here, these ones are curving up this way, curving up this way. And once you get to the tip here, it's just little tiny lines all together lining up. And this leaf has had its insides kind of eaten out. I don't know exactly. I think it's a bug that does that, right? Or is it, I can't remember if it's a disease or a bug or something that causes, or maybe it's the water. I have no idea. I know we went through, do you remember that in Kansas City? We went through that park and there was a bunch of these on the ground where it was like, I don't know what was causing it, but it was really cool. They were beautiful. They were like these little skeleton leaves. So, okay, so there's our leaf. Thank you, honey. Got it all dry now. All right, very good. Let me zoom out. A little bit more. Okay. Use a little bit of zinc white here with this glazing liquid and my cobalt teal. I'm just going to add some transparent color over the top. That white's just going to help lighten it up without getting too cloudy, because when you add white to it, it can kind of get a little bit cloudy. So the zinc white's a good, sometimes they make mixing white. It's called out of titanium white and zinc white. It's kind of 50-50. It's a little bit softer blend than using the titanium white alone. Grabbing a little bit more of that glazing liquid. This is where you can really kind of blend out these transition areas here. Bring a little bit of this color down into some of those other areas. Mostly glazing liquid here. It's not a whole lot of pigment. And I'm going to use a little bit of the darker color now. This is that Ultramarine Blue. Coming in the opposite direction with it. To get out most of that color there. Going through the glazing liquid with this one. I honestly thought this would be a really easy background. So funny. So funny how the ones that I think are going to be really easy are I mean, it's not super hard. It's just time consuming. It's taken several layers to get the look that I'm looking for. And then some other ones that I thought would be really hard or super fast, like the one we did last week with the horse. I thought that one would be really hard, and it turned out to be one of the easiest, ones. The background came together really fast, so it's just funny. You never know. And of course, I don't do the example paintings anymore, so it's always kind of a mystery to me how long it's going to take. 'Cause I don't have time to, well, I have time, but I don't have my arm can't handle the extra 3 paintings a week doing the examples anymore. I've got tendonitis, so anyhow, all right. So so it makes these live shows much more of an adventure. You never know what you're going to get.
Yes. Hey, somebody asked, is the Cobalt teal a little more transparent than regular teal?
I think it is actually, yeah. I think they're both considered opaque. Yeah, it's pretty far over on the opaque scale. It's way more than half, but it's not all the way over. So I think it is a little bit less, a little bit more transparent than regular teal. I have regular teal somewhere, but I can't get to it right this second. Okay, adding a little bit of yellow to the teal color, adding some more of that in over this darker areas. So what I'm trying to get is just kind of a uniform look. I don't want a bunch of splotches. I don't want a lot of the background colors kind of peeking through or anything like that. So I want it to kind of look soft and blurry all over. And I think we've just about achieved that. So I'm going to use this brush, and I want to, I'm going to try to do this without touching the canvas too much. So I'm going to hold it upright, although that kind of defeats the purpose of the T-square, doesn't it? Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, there. That's what I want. Right there, and I'm just going to come just below it. And do a little bit of a light line across that horizon line. There we go. So you can see that? Just a very, very thin line I used that yellow and cobalt teal, a lot of glazing liquid, so it's very, very faint. And I'm just going to have that little bit of a line there going across the edge of our water. Just going back and blurring that out a little bit. Okay, I like that. I think that's pretty close to where I want to be. Can't see anything. There we go. Mark's doing stuff over there. Behind the scenes. Adding a little bit more of that bright blue right there on the, just above and below that line. That's where you just want to kind of look and see, and like I can see that this is a little bit higher right here than I did down here, so I'm just going to try to kind of match that up a little bit. It does look good right there. This one might have a little bit longer. Okay, so I think we're pretty good. We're pretty close. No, I need you to dry it one more time. This one is like a really bad.
Are you serious?
Actually, let me put the dots on here, and then maybe it'll dry while I'm doing that. Hopefully.
Well, I'll need to take my shirt off if I'm going to be drawing again.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Do you have your glasses on?
I'm going to use the white and some of the cobalt teal and my angle brush, and my leaf is going to go right in here. I went ahead and drew it out and put it on transfer paper because I knew it was going to be, I didn't want to draw it on here. It just would take too long to draw it onto the camera. Whoa, sorry, super loud. All right. Oh, sorry, honey. I can't help it. Okay, so we're right in here.
I say we just cut it out and glue it to the painting. Be done.
cut it out and glue it.
Mm-hmm. Be like
So it looks like we're about an inch below. And I want to leave room. So it's going to be in this general area here. I don't want to get anything in here. So I want to stay out to the sides here. And I'm going to just put these little dots on my water. Using this teal and white. And so right in here. I'm just touching my tip of my brush straight down. And I want to keep these fairly level. They're going to get smaller as they go down out off the canvas over here. More faint. And they're different sizes. So some of you can press down a little harder than others. You can cluster them together. There we go. Looks like a little, I don't know. I think this is a made up image. I think it's a digital image. I mean, I think the leaf picture is real, but I think they added these little dots here. I'm pretty sure they did. So, but I think it looks cool, so I wanted to add them too. I want to do it. Definitely adds to it. All right.
So what brush were you just using?
That was the angle brush. Yeah, it's still it's too tacky. I don't want to I'm going to get white stuff all over it. It's going to lift the paint off. So, sorry. I didn't realize this was going to take so many drying layers here. But I'm going to be using transfer paper to put it on. So if you have never used transfer paper before, do your drawing either onto your tracing paper or onto a sketch book, trace it out onto tracing paper, and then you can place it onto your canvas. And then this is Sorrel transfer paper. It looks like this. It comes in different colors. I have it in my Amazon store. If you go down in the description, there's a link to the Amazon store where I have an acrylic painting supplies list, and this is in there. It's the nice thing about this one is it's water soluble. I didn't even realize this existed until this year. So I've been using regular wax, transfer paper, and this is so much better. So graphite transfer paper is what I was using, and you would have to erase it with either an eraser or with like bleach wipes. But this actually is water soluble, so it comes off really easily. And it comes in all the different colors too, so it's pretty awesome stuff. So shout out to Sorrel. They're not a sponsor. I just like them. But they could be if they want to contact me. So anyhow, there is a side that you can tell is a little bit waxier than others. And if you want, it's coming off my fingers a little bit. You can tell which side. So you just want to make sure that side is down onto your canvas when you work. And then I use a little, it's actually a nail, if I can get it out here. It's a little nail tip, and it's a stylus. It's got a little metal round ball on the end of this, and it comes in different sizes. These are also in the Amazon store if you can't get to them, but they're I think they're in the pottery tools too. I think they use them for all kinds of different stuff. They're really handy. So I use those to trace because I don't like to mark up my papers. Some people like to trace with a pen so that they can see where they've been. It's just kind of up to you. If you're going to use it again, I would say use one of these. If you're not going to use it and you're just using it once, then I think a pen is probably fine. You can also use a roller pen that is out of ink, so it rolls nicely. But anyhow, yeah. So This weekend, while I'm waiting for him, this weekend we're going to be doing our Patreon bonus video. I don't have the picture of it, unfortunately, but it's going to be some rocks, black rocks with a large red burgundy orchid on top, and it's got to have some water droplets and things like that. We're going to take our time. It'll probably be at least a 4-hour tutorial, and we'll be doing that on Crowdcast. So if you go to my channel homepage and go to the community tab, there's a link to it, and you can sign up. It's a $5 level on Patreon. So, and then with that, you also get the traceables and the high resolution finished photos and all that kind of thing. So, all right. Thank you very much, honey. All right. Oh, we got it. We've just been talking. I don't have the bonus video. Do you have the, it might be up in my, if you click on the bonus video in the thing, it might pop up in that upper corner.
Okay.
I think it's, yeah, try clicking on the image for the bonus video and see if it pops up and you can see what it's going to look like. I think I already put it out there. So I usually, ooh, look at that. Yeah, it's working.
No.
Not? Okay. So that is definitely working. So I don't have to press very hard on this. My line was quite thick. So it's working really well. And you could kind of see where it actually, where I'm resting my hand here, it's kind of marking up the paper, or it's getting, you know, it's transferring on those sections onto the canvas too. And that's why I was saying that it's nice that I've never been able to transfer without getting marks from the paper that I didn't want on my, on my canvas. So that's pretty normal. And so I really like that this stuff erases as easily as it does. Okay, I can't remember where I was at, but I make sure I hold down really hard with this hand. Never lift this hand. And that way I can see where I can flip it up and see where I'm at. So we haven't done any of this one. There we go. And then we'll do the center line and just a few of the major indicating lines there. I think that's good enough. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's going to be so pretty when it's done. I just love this image. When I saw it, I was like, it's hard for me to find good images for Tuesday nights that are going to be short enough, to do for you guys, because I like detail. So I'm just using water here. I'm just wiping off all of that white. I'm just going to get a white paper towel here, actually. Probably go faster. Just a wet paper towel, and I'm just going to dab off these lines. And if you're using, like I said, if you're using old-fashioned graphite paper, the white, because it came in these white color too, you can just use a eraser or bleach wipes to get them off. They'll come off. You just have to make sure you don't press too hard, because it can take your color off your canvas too. This paint is not going to be cured for another 24 hours or so. So if we press down, if we rubbed it hard enough, it would come right off the canvas. In some spots, maybe not all, but. All right, so let's use this brush. So I think, fingers crossed, let's see if this works. In theory, it should work, I think. We'll try it. See how it goes. Wish me luck. All right, so I want to add just a little bit of this yellow oxide to my zinc white to tint it just a little bit, because it's not a perfect white. I didn't use I thought about using unbleached titanium, but I felt like it needed a transparency, so felt like it'd just be easier to kind of mix my own sort of unbleached titanium with the yellow oxide and zinc white. So yellow oxide is not a transparent color. It does come in a transparent form though, so if you have transparent yellow oxide, you can use that and it'll be even better. But it's okay if we do want it to be sort of opaque, right? We need it to cover somewhat, so we don't want it to be totally translucent, but there we go. We're going to go really light with this, and I'm going to actually kind of dab it on. Since we've got so much going on in that leaf, I think that'll kind of help that look that we're going for, of those little cells and things happening, like stuff's happening in that leaf. It's not perfectly smooth underneath. So keep it very, very soft. We can do this several times if we need to, but I'd rather put it on too light at first than to try to, because if you go too dark too soon, you're going to cover up all this dark and you're going to have to paint back in your dark, and that'll be really, really hard to do. So I don't want to do that. And I think I'm going to use this to dab off some of the, just a little bit of that color too, so it's a little bit easier to cover that tracing line too, because those lines are pretty thick. So I'm just dabbing with my paper towel, my damp paper towel, to sop up some of the transfer graphite. There we go. Okay, so you can already see it's kind of got a little bit something going on. You can tell it's something. So I'm going to use this yellow color up here in this upper area, and then use a more turquoise color down here, a little bit darker color on the part on the bottom where it's getting that reflection area. So in that way, hopefully we can get a little bit of difference going on in our leaf. This is okay, there we go. So down here, I'm going to get out of teal. And get my cobalt teal. I'm going to add it to this color that I've got. It's going to create a little bit of a slightly green tinged. Really don't need a whole lot of blue for this. Actually, I do want a little bit more blue on just on this part right here. This one's got a little bit more of that cobalt teal on it. Not sure why, but okay. Trying to work that edge out so that it softens it up a little bit where I transferred on those lines. I want that to disappear, so I'm just going to kind of go over those lines a little bit with my brush. I'm painting to try to get those softened. Did I go off camera?
Just barely.
Okay.
Almost cut it. But you're doing good.
I didn't know you zoomed in.
Well, that's what I did.
Okay.
Giving people their money's worth tonight, baby.
I had somebody email me. They took the time to email me to tell me to stop giggling so much and that Mark talks too much.
Yeah, I mean, I would email you too.
Oh, I was like, really?
I mean,
Like, that was the most pressing thing that you had to do today.
with all the wildfires,
Complain
and,
about my free video.
and disasters and things like that going in the world, that got that person all worked up.
I was like, okay.
Who cares about a stupid hurricane?
I didn't.
She's laughing too much.
I know. Exactly. Oh, like, sorry. Having too much fun. Stop laughing. Okay, so I went through here. You can see what I did there. I kind of put that backside of that leaf in here. I'm trying to do a second layer on here that this section actually is going to get. You're going to see both sides just a little bit, so it's going to be darker or more, yeah, more color right through there. Okay, and then the same thing here. And you may have to wait for it to dry a little bit, but it's working pretty good. This is definitely kind of the look that I was hoping for. It's got that translucency still. It's a little. We just want to keep it looking delicate. It's such a delicate, soft looking, you know, image. I don't want to lose it and make it too heavy by putting in it too solid too quickly. So getting some of the zinc white here. I'm just going to use the tip of the brush and just kind of try to go through here, and I'm going to actually kind of just use that flat edge to sort of tap in some lines. If I have my brush flat enough, I load it, press down flat, so I have a good like straight edge right there. I can get these lines and get some. And I'm still using this transparent color, so I'm just sort of indicating there's just going to be just like a sort of like what we don't want it to be too dark. Really, where I put my transfer, it's too dark. My transfer lines are kind of, I don't like them.
So they would like to know, how is Kashmir doing with the renovations?
Oh. She's been doing fine. She loves having all these people around to...
Well, she's adjusted.
She's adjusted. She doesn't normally... This is her picture from today. She was full of it, and she was just jumping around. This is like in our living room area. She was jumping around and attacking the paper and running across the floor, and then, you know, she makes the paper, you know, that plastic makes the noises, you know, when she jumps on it. So she's like, you know, she's loving it. And then she sat there and looked at me through the thing like that, and I was like, okay, I gotta take a picture of it. And then Oliver, I took a picture of him too. He, bless him, he wanted to take a nap so bad, he finally found a little corner to take a nap. In the middle of the chaos, there's little Oliver right there. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's what we're living with right now. So
that's our
welcome
living
to
room.
my world.
Yeah, that's our living room right now.
Yeah, that's our living room. And yeah, so I worked from the couch today. I have just kind of hanging out there. I was pretty much on the phone all day and had people coming in and out and in and out. So I couldn't really be, it's just easier to be out there because it's in the middle of where everybody's at. They can find me easier, so. Yeah. I'm ready for it to be done. We're getting closer. Okay. Oh, it's pretty. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of tapping, tap, 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 just trying to get these little sort of leaf indications. I'm really trying to keep it very subtle, going really slow, just adding layer by layer, really slowly, subtle color, not going in and putting in anything too dark too soon. It's really, I think it's working out. I'm liking it. Okay. I'm going to switch to the round brush now. This is the number 1 round. And I'm going to grab some of the yellow and some of the yellow oxide and some white and lots of white. And I'm using the zinc white again here. This time, this is kind of more of a solid. We're not doing the part that's see-through, right? The stems are solid. So we can go in with this, and I am going to use a little bit of this the translucent paint though, because it'll put it on just a little bit softer. So, and if it doesn't go on dark enough, I'm going to probably add just a little bit of the titanium white so that it covers better. And so like right in here, I want it to be solid. And then on the outside edge. And if you need to switch to a different brush, you can. If you need a smaller brush. Totally fine. And I'm not trying to do it in a solid line. I'm actually kind of dabbing it on so that it goes on a little bit broken. It'll be a little fuzzier. Look a little softer.
Yeah, and the softer touch you use, you have to talk softer too while you do it.
Yes, I have to talk soft. Sorry.
That's pro tips that you don't get on any other channel also.
Yeah.
Now you know why they make it look so simple.
Lots of giggling and softer talking. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm still having random coughing fits from all the dust in the house.
So maybe a cereal night.
Huh?
It may be a cereal night.
Maybe a cereal night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, get yourself some. You can eat that during the show.
You don't
I
want
did get some more frozen dinners too.
you don't want to hear me slurping
That's
cereal.
true. That's true. Okay.
Person after my own heart.
What?
Request for side cam. You speak my language. But don't give me a bite of your Vegemite sandwich.
What? What?
I said, don't give me a bite of your Vegemite sandwich.
I still can't hear you. You're whispering.
Don't give me a bite of your Vegemite sandwich.
Is that from the VeggieTales?
No, I said they speak my language.
No.
Then she just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich.
Oh, God.
Do you come from a land down under?
I'm trying to think of the next line. Something where the something and the somethings. Don't remember the line. Sorry.
We'll see if anybody else can remember.
Something about men plunder. Something like that. Okay. I definitely want more yellow in it down here. This one's much more yellow. It's got more of that green tone for the water, I guess. I'm not sure. But, because of course, you know, this is reality. This is the image, so it's being affected by the color of the water.
So it is. Where women glow and men plunder.
Men plunder. Ah, yes.
Can't you hear?
Can't you hear the thunder?
Can't you hear the thunder? I should do this in more theatrical.
Yeah, deeper voice. You need deeper voice.
You better run. You better take cover.
We might get in trouble. I don't think we can get in trouble for saying the words as long as we're not singing them. I don't know. I don't copyright. You might just stop right there. Just in case.
Huh. It's amazing what the words actually are when you read them. I don't know what I've been singing. What was that one?
Oh, there's a word for that Did you know I get this because I'm a grammar geek. I get a daily email of words, of vocabulary, weird vocabulary words. And the other day they had a vocabulary word that means lyrics that are misspoken. So there's actually a word for that. It's called mondegreen. Look it up.
Who, what, the green?
Mondegreen. I'm not sure how you say it. MONDEGREEN. You learned a new word. You're welcome.
Okay.
And for the painting, go home with the grammar.
Or the song's words to a song.
Where you get the words wrong to a song. So there's a whole word for that. Unreal.
Okay.
Okay, so no, I need to.
Well, somebody asked a question.
Okay.
They want to know if you're going to paint over the Serral tracing outlines.
Yes, I'm trying to do that right now. They're not coming off very easily.
Oh, so they come off as you paint on them?
Yeah, I've painted over them, but they're not coming off very easily. So I'm just trying to kind of obscure them now. So using the teal here, mixed it with that color from the outline here, and using the glazing liquid, I'm gonna go in with the brighter. I went around the outline with white, so it is outlined with white anyways. So I just went ahead and kind of outlined the whole thing just now with the white. And I'm gonna go in here while I'm thinking about it and use this green in our little dots. Make some of them a little bit brighter. This is that transparent green, okay. Cobalt teal mixed with this color up here that we did. I'm going to go ahead and put a few little dots in with cobalt teal.
People are now listening to that song.
Be like, why are there suddenly
A bunch of hits.
yeah, all at the same time in the evening, like.
So it is the mishearing or misinterpretation of a phrase as a result of near a homophony, which is in a way that gives a new meaning. Mondegreens are most often created by a person listening to a poem or song.
Yep.
The listener being unable to clearly hear a lyric, substitute words that sound similar and that make the same kind of sense. Like taking care of biscuits.
True dat.
Every day.
Word.
Taking care of biscuits.
I'm a realist. Amaryllis. Amaryllis.
Amaryllis. That was a good meme.
Yeah. All right. We need to paint now. We're talking about other stuff. I'm going to use the Phthalo blue and burnt sienna, make that dark teal color here. So we got to put in our yeah, we need to start reading off bad lyrics. I thought that
So I don't know that song. When I think about you, I smudge myself.
you don't want to know what it says.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Okay, so now I've mixed in the glazing liquid with this color, and I'm going to go just on the inside of my lines that I just did, and darken those up. We need a shadow. And this one is on this side. This one's on this side. There's a big ol' shadow right here, right up underneath. So it's on the water side. Going right over, and make sure you use a lot of glazing liquid for this because you want it to be soft. Pull it down just a little bit. So I put the color on, I'm just kind of pulling it down a little bit. You can grab some glazing liquid and come underneath and pull it down with the glazing liquid. We'll just keep it thin. There we go. See that? Now we've got that shadow there that we need. I might do a little bit darker right here. There we go. And then shadow here. Shadow here. I feel like I need a little bit more detail on these before I can shadow them effectively. I think we need one more layer of the details. So let's go ahead and use this brush now. Now we need it super fine. I'm going to use that Zinc White. And I'm just going to create some little shapes in my leaf here. I'm just going to kind of fill it in with this. I'm looking at my picture every now and then just to try to kind of get the general direction of some of these, but they really are kind of all over the place, so I'm not too worried about it. These ones up here can be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go a little bit thicker with my paint. Almost just straight Zinc White, not really any glazing liquid to thin it out. But I am using the fluid acrylic because when you're using the liner brush, you need it to be fluid. So if you don't have the fluid version of Zinc White and you're using your heavy body acrylic, just add a bunch of water to it so that it's kind of a milky consistency. It needs to be very thin for this to look right. So, and then there's kind of a crease right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just make it a little bit right about where that thing pokes out right there. There's like a little crease right there. So I'm just going to go a little bit darker right there, a little bit brighter, I should say. A little bit more color right there. Okay, I'm working. So I'm going to go underneath here and kind of fill in this area a little bit thicker. I'm still kind of using the tip of my brush just to draw it around, but I want to get that.
That's looking good, baby.
Really? Thank you.
Yes, really. I ain't lying.
Thanks very much. Yeah, that's working. This side over here is much more kind of almost green. I think I'm going to use a little bit of that green with it. Oh, I don't have any green. Let's use Cobalt. Use this color. Here, I'm going to add it in. Use a little bit of that yellow. Yeah. So that light. Ooh, too much. Get a little bit more of that glazing liquid there. And this side is really kind of blurry, so I'm just going to put it on kind of blurry. I'm not going to try to draw in the lines like I did on the other side. I'm just going to kind of wiggle my brush around, let it create some little randomness and keep it almost solid. Just keep it blurry. There we go. Not white, it's just a little bit off-white here. A little bit of that yellow oxide mixture that we made up over here. And a little tiny bit of green. Teal, I should say. Not green. Okay. That is working. Now this area right there is a little bit brighter, so I'm going to go a little bit thicker with the paint right there. As it's coming up out of that curve, it's getting a little bit more of the light. That sunlight's coming down like this. I think that's what's happening here. There's a little crease right there in that leaf that's catching the light. It's really subtle. Okay. And we're almost done here. We're getting pretty close. Let's, yeah, I figured about an hour and a half, so I think we're about right. Pretty close. Getting that dark color again. I'm going to come along this one. Go right along that outside edge of that leaf. Shadow it. Shadow the main sections here. Coming down. And if we needed to, we can go back and darken up that shadow there again, and we probably need to reshadow this area on either side of that. And also up the center, for sure. So there's a shadow right here on this inside edge. There we go. And then now I'm going to get that brighter white, and I've got that thin fluid, getting that titanium white. And I add a little bit of my yellow color to it, just a little bit. And I'm going to go on the far side of it and add a little bit of a bright highlight. Just not everywhere, and I don't have to go straight down, but I'm just going to kind of catch that leaf. And really, it's not, I need to shadow this area, I think, because I think I have it too bright. It looks like it's too bright right there. As it's coming down underneath, it's going to be darker, I think, than I've got it there. That. Those are going to pop it forward. So wherever we put this white, it's going to really bring it forward. So just going to be selective with it. And we can put a few little highlights in a couple places on my leaf too. Just don't go over my shadow areas that I've already done. Oh, I haven't been spraying my paint. I was like, why is my paint drying out? I forgot to spray it. Okay, a bit more of this. So this is kind of the same deal, just going back in here and highlighting the areas that I want it to be a little bit brighter. This color with the yellow on the water part. Okay. Do the same thing I did up here and just kind of wiggle my brush around and add a little bit more detail in here. There's just a few little spots that are catching that light. So just gonna and really what I'm looking for are the ones that kind of look like, when I look at it really quickly, you know, the ones that are kind of really obvious. So that's all I'm really trying to do, is just the really obvious ones. Look for the ones that are the brightest and just kind of hit those up with just a little touch of color, and that way they'll kind of, you kind of get the feeling of the leaf without having to draw the entire thing in. We don't want to have to do that. Okay. Pretty close to being done here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of add a little bit of this on this one, even though this one, like this, is much more blurry, so it's more out of focus and not as detailed, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think the main things to do are just these shadows are really what make it, give it some depth. So keeping it really translucent and then adding those shadows in on the right spots there, give it that dimension. Right there and right here. I'm using this darker color just right along that stem right there where I want it to get a little bit darker as it goes down inside underneath that leaf right there, just like it did right here. There's a little bit of that, just a little bit. I can bring that color up. It's not nearly as much on the top side, but there is just a little bit of a shadow on this side of it as well. So we did it on the bottom area much more obvious, but then I need a little bit of it coming up also.
They would like
this
to
upper area, and then right in here. Yeah.
They would like to know where your glazing liquid is situated.
Right here. Oh yeah, I should have put it over here so you could tell which one it is. Yeah, I'm dipping into it pretty much every color here. I've been using it for the most part for all of this. So there's the zinc, that's the titanium white, this is the zinc white right here, and then this is the glazing liquid. Everything's getting a little bit sticky. I'm going to add my white around the outside edge there a little bit, brighten that up. Just trying to keep these lines really small in there so that they're really soft. And I'm going to put a little bit more of this glaze color in this little area right here for that leaf that's behind here too. Just a little bit. And if you need to, you can add more of your glazing liquid over the top of this if it's too dark. But yeah, just needs a little bit more right there. And really this one is got a little bit more kind of all the way across right here. I'm not sure why, but that whole area is a little bit more got kind of a rounded highlight. This one does too. There we go. And really want to soften that up. I don't want that to be obvious line right there, so I'm just kind of wiggling along that line to keep it soft. Getting some more of that yellow. I want it pretty dark right here, so I'm going to get almost straight yellow oxide right there. How you doing, hon? Hanging?
I'm okay, yep. Now I know you've done lessons before about water drops and stuff like that on there.
Yeah, that's what we'll be doing in our video on Sunday. Our
What?
bonus video.
Bonus video Sunday?
Yep.
Water drops, dewdrops.
Yep, water drops on rocks and an orchid. So.
Bam.
Yep. But if you want the public ones that I've done, they're, I think the peony, the pink peony that I did last year, there's some, we did water drops on that at the end. And I think there was something else we did recently. I can't remember what it is though. But I know we did it on that.
Well, I know you didn't do it on the tank.
No, we didn't do it on the tank.
And I didn't do it on Stickman. And let's see, I didn't do it on the row houses. So those are out for
Those
sure.
are out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just kind of going through all the videos in my mind.
And Zinc White here. So I'm going just on the far side, opposite of so the yellow in the middle, and that darker color on the outside, and then this is going to be tough if you don't have a very thin brush. The 18-aught is what I'm using, and it's super fine. Actually, I want to get a little bit titanium white, just get a little bit brighter.
So for the drops on this one, would you use white? Or
What are we talking about? What drops?
Like if you're going to do a dew drop on this, somebody's asked
Oh, okay.
what color would be used.
Where would you put it?
I don't know.
That would change. I don't know. That would probably make the color a little bit different, depending where you put it. Like it would be, if you put it on the leaf, then it'd be different color than the water. But I would just use the same exact colors that we're using. Same exact colors. The dark part, use your dark turquoise here that we're using for shadowing, and then for the lighter parts, use the colors, because it's just going to reflect what you're doing. You know, that's all it is. It's just a little mirror. So it's just reflecting the colors around it. So just use whatever, and then use, you know, your white for the brightest part. All right, I think I'm done. I could keep going, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to get too far into this. It's kind of a rabbit hole of complications. I'm going to add a little bit of that dark shadow color to that yellow. And I'm going to use it to do some lines on this part that are kind of solid. My paint is dry. It just is telling me it's time to stop because it's not painting anymore. It's just sticking to the canvas. It's not flowing off my brush at all. So just using this color in here. Okay, so just make sure then once you've kind of finished all of what you're going to do that you go back through here and have a nice dark I'm going to use my angle brush so I can get in there real good. Nice dark area. I'm going to actually use a little bit of that yellow with it too. I can see a little bit of yellow in it.
I'm a little rusty.
Why?
Well, I really believed that when you said you were done, that you were done. I was like, I fell for it. How stupid of me.
Sorry, hon. Well, I just thought that needed to go. And
No,
so
no,
do
no,
it that
no,
way
no.
and then do a little bit, flip it and do a little bit on the upper one too.
I've been doing this for years. I know better. It's inexcusable.
I forgive you. I'm gonna go real dark right there. And then I think I'm gonna do the same up here. I'm gonna use the same color. I can get enough of it in my brush. With that glazing liquid, I'm going to go along right up underneath my light area.
Do we think
right
that,
up to that line there. So, what, hon?
do we think that this would work with a red fall leaf?
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Definitely. I think you could do, if you use red, if you're doing red, do it the same way, you know, just use that green or whatever color you use for your water in your bottom reflection area there. And that will tint it, you know, just the right color. You don't need a lot, but just, you know, just a little bit. Not too much because it'll turn it brown, but yeah, I think that'll be cool. All right, I think we're done. It's not, you know, it's not photorealistic, but it's good. It's cute. I think I like it. So it's all we could do in an hour and 20 minutes. So
40.
I'll just say that.
Hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, an hour and 40 minutes. Okay, sorry, hon. I didn't realize we were that late. All
That's okay. No. I mean,
Okay.
This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't come here to get half a show and me eating a sandwich. That's a different channel.
Which you watch probably.
I watch all those food channels.
She watches
Yeah.
all those food channels.
Are we going to...
I'm going to sign it here.
Yeah,
real quick.
that's it. Sign it. So Saturday we're doing a show.
Saturday we're doing a flower garden that's from a picture that I actually took. It's a garden path. I photoshopped it because it was actually just like a straight thing. It didn't have a path at all. So if you look at really closely to the image, it's not really true. It's not like a... But I'll make it look good, hopefully. So the finished painting will look way better than the picture photograph, in theory. Hopefully. So we'll just fingers crossed. And I say that and it's probably going to be crap. It's like, why did I say that? But yeah, so that's, I have it in my brain what I want to do with it. It's just not, I don't have the actual photograph. So hopefully we'll make it a reality on Saturday. And it shouldn't be too long. I'm going to keep it fairly simple. I really want to keep it very, very, very simple, very beginner friendly. So, because I don't like to go too long on the Saturday before we do our bonus video. So I'm hoping to keep it to close to an hour and a half as I can. So it's not going to be a 3-hour video. It's going to be short. All right, there we go. I signed it. And my signature is even kind of transparent. I may have to go back in there and darken it up. It's kind of disappearing on me over here. It's funny.
So we're doing the garden path on Saturday. Patreon bonus video for $5 and above on Sunday.
Right.
And I've already
And then
seen
Thursday, this Thursday, we're starting on. So Thursday, we're working on a new painting with my $10 Patreon group. So the $10 group gets a weekly live stream all on their own. And then they get to also watch the bonus video on Sunday because that's included with that level. So,
yeah.
But we're starting on a desert thunderstorm. So, and if you want to look at the reference images that we're going to be using, you can either go to my Patreon page. There, if you scroll down, there's a public post that shows all the upcoming videos. I've got it posted on my Instagram page, on Facebook, and also on my community tab here on YouTube. So I've got all of the upcoming videos, including the Patreon ones, because those are not included, obviously, in my YouTube upcoming videos. So the Patreon ones are shown in the community tab. And it's just a big square with all the different videos for this month of September. So if you're looking for that and want to see what we're up to, or you can join our newsletter. And yeah, if you go to thankfulart.com, there's, yeah, there it is, thankfulart.com. There's a section down toward the bottom of the front page that says sign up for the newsletter. We do a weekly newsletter, and that sends out the information about all the stuff that we're doing. And I also do book and music recommendations on that. That's like a special bonus for joining that. So,
Nice. Like
in case you care, I don't know.
Vegemite sandwich needs to be added.
What?
Vegemite sandwich needs to be added to the music list.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching tonight. We so appreciate you and appreciate all our patrons who make all of the bonus videos available so that we can keep these YouTube videos free. Yeah. So we so appreciate you guys for supporting our channel, and we will see you on Saturday. Thanks. Bye.